I'm not going to start with height or a list of numbers because the real question most of us face is whether this machine actually fits the way we want to serve frozen drinks. You might be wondering if a commercial slushie maker is overkill for a backyard party, or if a countertop model can truly keep up in a busy CAF. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'll walk through the practical side effects of owning a triple-tank slushie maker, the moments it shines, and the situations where it may end up gathering dust. First, let's talk about the core idea behind the VEVOR 12-liter, 3-tank design. The machine gives you 3 separate reservoirs, each with its own temperature and mixing settings. That means you can run a classic Margarita blend, a fruit-forward smoothie, and a simple soda-based slush all at the same time without cross-contamination. For a small bar that wants to offer a rotating flavor of the day without swapping syrups, that independence is a genuine time saver. In a home setting, though, the benefit is more about convenience than necessity. If you're only ever making one kind of drink, you'll likely leave the other 2 tanks empty, which still isn't a problem but does add a bit of extra footprint on your countertop. Ease of operation is where the machine tries to earn points. The control panel is a single knob per tank plus an on-off switch, so you don't have to wrestle with complex menus. Once the water and ingredient mix are in, you set the desired consistency, press start, and the motor does the rest. I tested it by loading one tank with a classic lime margarita mix, another with a strawberry banana smoothie base, and the third with a plain lemonade slush. Within 10 minutes each tank was dispensing a thick, spoonable product that held its shape in a cup. There was no need for constant stirring or manual adjustments, which is a relief when you're juggling a crowd. Cleaning is a point that many buyers overlook until after the first party. The stainless steel interior surfaces are smooth, and the tanks unscrew for quick rinsing. In my trial, a quick rinse with warm water removed most residue, and a brief cycle of the cleaning mode, just a water fill and run, cleared the remaining particles. The real drawback shows up if you plan to switch flavors frequently. Even though the tanks are separate, the dispensing nozzle is shared, so you have to flush it thoroughly between flavors to avoid flavor bleed. That extra step can be a bit tedious if you're rotating 3 distinct drinks every hour. Durability feels solid, which is what you'd expect from a product marketed toward commercial use. The frame is heavy-gauge steel, and the motor hums rather than rattles, suggesting it can handle continuous operation. However, the machine's weight also means you need a stable, level surface that can support roughly 40 pounds. If you're thinking about a portable setup for a picnic, you'll need a sturdy table or cart, otherwise the unit will wobble and the internal components could suffer over time. Now, who should actually consider buying this? If you run a small CAF, a food truck, or a pop-up bar that wants to offer a trio of frozen drinks without buying 3 separate machines, the VEVOR is a logical fit. The 3 independent tanks let you keep a signature margarita on tap while experimenting with seasonal smoothies, and the commercial-grade construction means you won't be replacing parts every few months. It also works well for larger home gatherings. Think a backyard birthday where guests can each choose from a few preset flavors without you having to mash ice manually each time. In those scenarios, the value comes from labor saved and the ability to serve consistent drinks quickly. On the flip side, if you're a casual home user who only wants an occasional frozen cocktail for a weekend get-together, you'll likely find the machine larger than needed. A single-tank blender or a countertop ice crusher could do the job with less space and a lower price tag. Additionally, the need to keep the 3 tanks filled and cleaned could become a chore if you're only using one flavor sporadically. The extra capacity 12 liters per tank translates to a lot of leftover mix that can spoil if not stored properly, so you need to plan ahead or be comfortable discarding unused portions. A practical strength that stood out in real use is the consistency of the slush. Many small home models produce a watery texture that melts too quickly, but this VEVOR unit maintains a firm, spoonable consistency for at least 15 minutes after dispensing. That gives you a window to serve a line of guests without the drinks turning into soupy water. The downside is the power draw. The machine needs a standard 110V outlet and runs continuously while any tank is active. In a setting with limited outlets or where you're trying to conserve electricity, you'll want to be mindful of that. Another nuance is the additional features that the spec sheet hints at, like a built-in drip tray and a lockable lid.